Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins and Jim Fowler. When Wild Kingdom aired in the 1960s and 70s, many episodes documented wildlife research efforts. Marlon and Jim accompanied scientists all over the world to observe animals and their natural behaviors. Some of the techniques you'll see in tonight's episodes are no longer necessary by today's standards, but the work is still just as important. Wild Kingdom took viewers to the far corners of the world and cultivated an appreciation for animals and their habitats. Marlon and Jim showed us the importance of preserving the natural world, not just for animals, but for our quality of life. And that's good news for all of us in the Wild Kingdom. So sit back and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by the Mutual of Omaha.
Hello. Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Jim and I have been trying to arrange a little coronation ceremony here, but without too much success.
From the looks on his face, he must have heard the expression, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Well, Mr. Moak, you may be the king of the chimpanzee show here at the St. Louis Zoo, but you'd never qualify as one of the monarchs of the wild, and I think I can prove it. Oh, big, tough Mr. Moak is afraid of a little kitten. And well, he might be, because this little lion is a prince of royal blood. We can define an animal as a monarch if it dominates other animals or lives out its life virtually unchallenged by other animals. Cats are truly monarchs, and they've been reigning for a long time, haven't they, Jim?
They certainly have, something like 50 million years. And in that time, they've spread out to establish homes everywhere on Earth except in the polar regions and in Australia and New Zealand. And they've pretty well divided the world up among themselves. Africa is the home of the lion, but he shares much of his domain with the leopard. The leopard is also found in Asia, but the true monarch here is the tiger. In North America, we have the mountain lion or puma and the bobcat. And in South America, the jaguar. So the big cats all belong to what we might call the royal family of the Wild Kingdom. And the most famous of all the monarchs is the lordly lion. He's called the King of Beasts for his regal appearance, his dignified manner, and his tremendous strength. Living together in family groups or prides, the females are the hunters, whereas the old male is the defender of their domain. This young monarch is pretty helpless in his early life, but soon he learns how to take care of himself in the school of hard knocks. The mother takes good care of her young until they're old enough to join the hunt. Their prey will be alert and fast. And when they become monarchs, panic runs before them. The leopard is not as powerful as the lion, but it's alert, stealthy, quick, and deadly. The young cub is one of the most beautiful kittens on Earth. For the first 6 months of his life, his mother is never far away, and she devotes her time feeding him and watching over him. During this time, the male leads a solitary life and hunts alone. The cub decides to go exploring, while his mother retires to her favorite tree. This experience will help train him for his future role as a monarch. For mother, the tree makes an excellent watchtower. Now the cub has spotted something that calls for an investigation. It's a big tortoise. Secure in his bony shell, the tortoise is well protected against the claws of a cat. And the little prince soon learns that not all the animals will succumb to his powers as a monarch.
Now to South America, where the largest animal is the tapir. But here the spotted king is the jaguar. And a young jaguar has the same inquisitive nature as the young leopard. It's the tapir he's watching. Now a tapir is a rather plain animal, except for his nose. It's a sawed-off version of the elephant's trunk, and he uses it in the same way, for smelling, eating, and moving things. The cub seems to be wondering if the situation calls for action. And it does. The senses of a tapir are not very keen. He may not even know he's being followed. A tapir is quite at home in the water, but so is a jaguar. Now the tapir knows for sure that he's being molested, and he doesn't like it. Even though he's picked a mighty rough customer to tackle, the cub isn't lacking in spunk. Today, the little jaguar is outclassed, but give him a year to grow up, and then the story will be different. Monarch of all Asia is the tiger, as big and powerful as the lion and more feared by both man and beast. Largest of all is the Siberian tiger, and a family of red deer have good reason to be skittish when this giant killer is on the prowl. Moving into the woods, his splashy stripes become like the shadows of trees as he flattens himself against the ground to lie in ambush. Here is a face at once both striking and sinister, beautiful and savage. His victims have escaped, but he's fat and can well wait for the next opportunity, which is sure to come. Jim, the creatures of the wild kingdom, who are monarchs of the wild, have the strength and adaptability to meet any situation. All the big cats are monarchs of the wild, but all the monarchs aren't cats. Let's take a look at some of the other rulers among animals. The one in here, for example. Jim, I may need a little help on this. Got him?
I got him.
Hold his tail there so he doesn't get around. This is a reticulated python, and fortunately a small one, a young one. only 4 years old, and I guess he's about 12 feet long now, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And a powerful constrictor. When he gets full grown, he's going to be about 30 feet long. And when he's 30 feet long, he's going to be able to really take care of himself. As a matter of fact, the python is so big that he has little to fear from any other creature. And all over the world, we find animals that must be classified as monarchs simply because of their sheer size. Surely the elephant is a monarch by any standard of measure. Of all land animals, he is by far the biggest, standing 12 feet or more at the shoulders. Even a baby elephant is a giant, weighing between 150 and 200 pounds at birth. The most spectacular feature of this spectacular animal is the trunk. 6 feet of boneless sinew and muscle, flexible and incredibly strong. Elephants travel in herds of a dozen to 100 or more, utterly immune to attack from any other wild animal. Equally sure of his ground is the rhinoceros, and he's another giant, weighing upwards of 2 tons. Like the elephant, he's a vegetarian. He uses his flexible upper lip to break off twigs and plants, and spends almost every waking hour fueling his enormous body. Climb above the timberline in the American West, and you enter the empire of the Rocky Mountain goat. Follow his tracks and hide yourself near a rock in which he's found a vein of salt. Here you can observe this beautiful creature that looks like a goat, but is really more of an antelope. So we class him as a goat antelope. His dagger-like horns are formidable weapons against an attacker. But his feet are his main defense. Rubbery hooves with sharp edges give him a sure footing. And he lives the entire year climbing about in territory that's impassable for most other animals. One of the goat's few neighbors is the marmot. This big ground squirrel is also well adapted for rock climbing. And when mother nurses her young, they learn to hang on for dear life. Each fall, the quiet of the high valleys is shattered by the bugle call of the bull elk. For a time, the cows go their peaceful way, but the mating season has begun, and a big bull sounds a challenge to any other male in the vicinity. Unless or until he's challenged, he proceeds to round up a harem of a dozen or so females. In size and spirit, the elk is a true monarch, and in his magnificent antlers, nature has bestowed on him the most beautiful crown in all the wild kingdom.
Another animal that rules its territory because of its size is the bear. Although it's classed as a carnivore, it's not as aggressive as some of the other predators. The frozen lands of the Arctic are ruled by the polar bear, the white king of the north. Thickly coated with fur and fat, and traveling on built-in snowshoes, it lives here all year round. One of the hardiest of all animals, he challenges anything that enters his empire, and especially a man. The neighboring kingdoms just south of the Arctic are ruled by the larger brown bears, including the world's largest, the Kodiak bear. Each year in June, when the salmon swim upstream to spawn, the famous fishing bears of Alaska enjoy a feast. to catch a fish takes practice, and a lot of the big ones get away from the cubs. The grizzly bear is the undisputed monarch of the American Northwest, yielding ground only to another even more powerful grizzly. The big males seem to engage in frequent arguments, often for no apparent reason. Cubs habitually trail along after mothers. Only the swift-flying gulls dare to poach on the grizzly's feeding ground. The cubs rush to mother for protection when a big male rears up to challenge another. The challenger starts to give chase, but the other turns on him, and the challenger makes a fast retreat. The real monarch is the female, who protects her young against all challengers.
Our American Indians were pretty fond of the bear. They regarded him as a fellow citizen of the woods, and they showed him great respect because he was a leader. We've said that an animal can be called a monarch if it goes virtually unchallenged in its territory. Many animals live out their lives within certain defined territories, but these territories may overlap in many ways. For instance, a puma may reign over a territory like this. This is his kingdom. But within it, right here, say, a badger may have its territory. Now here may be the territory of a bobcat, overlapping the puma's range. All of this and much more may be the hunting ground of a golden eagle. How do all these animals get along together? What happens when territories overlap? When monarch meets monarch? I studied this firsthand out west in the kingdom of a puma. He is the great cat of North America. Sleek, strong, and sure-footed, the true master of his territory. A badger has dug under a carcass which belongs to the puma, and the puma objects. That wasn't much of a fight, especially before an audience. Round 2. The puma has no special interest in fighting, just to fight, so the badger can stay. The carcass will still be there when the cat wants food. Overhead, the raccoon indulges in acrobatics. And higher overhead, the golden eagle surveys his vast empire, his keen eyes searching for small animals caught in unguarded moments. The bobcat is smaller than the puma and covers a much smaller territory. One of the badger's many excavations makes a fine place to rest, until the badger comes along. The badger's reaction to this is completely predictable. The badger has recovered possession of his hole, but unlike the puma, this cat does like to fight. It's conduct like this that's earned for the bobcat his other name, Wildcat. Well, if the cat won't leave, the badger has an answer for that. Enlarge the hole to accommodate them both. But this is really no place for a cat. And at the badger's cordial invitation, he goes on about his business. It's a land of rare beauty, this kingdom of the puma, and a mule deer at a mountain lake composes a perfect picture of unspoiled wilderness. A stream feeding the lake cuts across the puma's established route of patrolling his territory. But this remarkably dexterous animal is at home anywhere on land or water. A beaver is surprised out of water, and when they meet, each animal instinctively challenges the right of the other to be in his territory. The fight is inconclusive, but each animal has asserted his territorial claim. From high above, the eagle has spotted a magpie. It looks like an easy catch, but just in time the magpie takes off, and it's the eagle that gets caught in the bush. Black bears are also counted in the census here. The puma would probably steer clear of adult bears, which are ornery critters indeed. But cubs now, they may be good for a little sport. Maybe. A tiny bobcat is enjoying the sun at the side of a spring. It could be in danger, a ready target for the eagle. But the eagle has his eye on a mouse. The eagle flies off to its eyrie to feed its young and then continue hunting across the length and breadth of its empire. The badger goes on digging, always ready to do battle with any intruder. The bobcat sharpens its claws, getting ready to go on the prowl. And the puma continues to patrol his own wild kingdom. All animals seem to be preoccupied with the essential business of survival, and each animal has a different need and a different plan. The wild kingdom is not one kingdom, but many. There's not one great king of beasts, but a bountiful variety of dominant animals, each ruling over a given territory, be it large or small. Some, like the cats and other predators, rule aggressively, attacking and preying upon the lesser creatures that dwell in their kingdoms. Others, such as the elephant, rule because of their size, merely using the advantages nature gave them to remain above the battle for survival. Each monarch has his appointed role to play in maintaining the delicate balance of nature, and each territory fits like a piece of a giant jigsaw puzzle into the overall grand design of the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Like what you saw? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exclusive content. And visit our website at wildkingdom.com.